Now, this is a story all about how local soccer media got flipped, turned upside down. And we like to take a minute, so grab a beer so cold, and we'll tell you how we became electric gold. In White House, Tennessee, born and raised on the soccer fields was where we spent most of our days. Reading Mad Magazine and riding our bikes with a known propensity for rocking the mic. Now we're a trio of guys who are getting kinda old, cheering on the boys and gold with every bit of our soul, screaming our heads off while drinking some beers, hoping to give Cincy and Miami something to fear. Now Evan, John and Ryan are kicking the facts about Nashville SC, and they'll never come whack. If anything, we can say the show is rare. Acoustic blue and electric gold, the only colors we wear. We pull up the Goonies about 7:38, and we yell to the refs, yo home, smell you later. We look at the castle, we feeling so bold. We sit on our thrones, we're electric gold. Electric gold.
What's up, everybody? It's Electric Gold. I'm Ryan. As always, I'm here with Evan and John. It's time to talk Nashville soccer, whether you like it or not. Kind of a bummer of a weekend, guys, not going to lie. The good times, I thought they would never end. And they did.
Oh, they did.
So, but we'll get into all of that. You guys doing all right this evening? How's everybody feeling?
Doing great.
Still living. I'm okay. Yeah.
Still kicking. I'll say this. No matter how the game went, I had a fantastic time. It was a great crowd, great energy at the game, and we had a lot of fun. And I've been feeling it all day today. So
Every bit.
I can't wait to go to sleep. Let's get into all the soccer stuff in just a minute. But first, let's talk about what we're drinking this evening. And John, we'll start with you. What are you having tonight?
Yeah. Tonight I am having it's called a Smile Lines from Marble Fox Brewing here in Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys had any Marble Fox? They're kind of a newer brewery, and to me, they're kind of in that Southern Grist, Living Waters type kind of experimental beers. The one I'm drinking right now is actually an IPA. It's really good. It is. You get little notes of peach, honey, and mixed berries on your palate, but it's a really good IPA. I'm going to read the line from them. It's: "Let the vibrant flavors paint a colorful tapestry of joy, where every sip brings a smile to your lips." And I'm telling you, that's what it does, because I really am in need of a smile today. So I do thank you, Marble Fox Brewing. It's a good one.
Very nice. And how about yourself, Evan? What are you drinking this evening?
Well, I'm also drinking a local IPA. I'm having the Slap Fight from the Monday Night Brewing Preservation, kind of a West Coast style IPA. It's got tropical hop profile. It's light and clean. Got some hints of papaya, orange, and grapefruit, and it just kind of slaps you across the face with all that flavor. So I'm enjoying it tonight.
He's in a daze from how good it is. Well, I'm going to make it 3 for 3 on local IPAs. I mean, I've got several shout outs that I want to include here before I get into what kind of beer I'm drinking. First of all, shout out to Beer World in Mount Juliet. I don't know if you guys ever get out that way. Probably not. That's not your side of town. Great store with all kinds of interesting beers from all around the country and all around the world. Really, if you're a beer aficionado, you want to explore, you want to try some new things that you haven't seen before, that place has got a great selection. Went there for the first time today and was just blown away by the selection that's there. Second shout out is to Southern Grist. They are such an excellent local brewer, really creative. They're trying explorative, creative flavors, just doing weird, interesting stuff. And I love it. And of course, they are a partner for our supporters group, the Assembly. And so they've always got a couple of their flavors on tap for us at the tailgates, which is amazing. That is really one of the main reasons why I'm a member of the Assembly, and they do an amazing job, and it's so nice of them to partner with them and make that available to us at the tailgates. It really enhances the fun that we're having there. And so I'm having one of their beers tonight, and it's a New England style IPA. If you don't know what a New England style IPA is versus a traditional IPA, I'll give you some description of it. Usually they're a little bit more hazy or cloudy than your traditional IPA. They have like a softer, creamier sort of feel in your mouth, a more pillowed sort of feel, if you will. They certainly have a lot of hops like any IPA does, but New England IPAs emphasize more of a tropical or fruity sort of flavor. And as a result, they end up also tending more towards a sweeter sort of flavor than your traditional IPA. The West Coast IPAs are more bitter, but a New England IPA you can pretty confidently expect to be on the sweeter side. This one certainly is. Because what they've done with this, do you guys know what a marbit is?
Oh, I do. Actually, yeah.
A marbit, it's a portmanteau. How do you say that word? Portmanteau?
Portmanteau.
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 Of the words marshmallow and bit, I guess. And it's just marshmallow bits, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's what General Mills calls the things that are in Lucky Charms.
Yeah.
And this is the Marbit's beer from Southern Grist. It's a marshmallow IPA, guys.
Oh my gosh.
Have you ever?
No.
I'm pretty jealous right now. I'm pretty jealous.
It's not just regular marshmallow. It's specifically cereal marshmallow flavor in your beer. Check it out. It's amazing. So hats off to Southern Grist for just being truly creative and finding new flavors in all sorts of interesting places. Cheers to you, boys.
Cheers, boys.
Let's kick this off with a little bit of week in review. This past weekend, Nashville sought to keep the good times rolling in Geodis Park as they hosted bitter rival FC Cincinnati. NSC was riding a 3-game winning streak that saw them climbing the Eastern Conference standings and gelling their newly constructed roster to great success. Meanwhile, Cincinnati had started the season in rocky fashion as they juggled CONCACAF Champions Cup obligations with their regular season schedule, leading to a record of 2 wins, 2 losses, and 1 draw. For Nashville, Ahmed Qasim and Pat Gasbeck returned to the starting lineup after missing last week's action with a stomach bug. And Josh Bauer started once again at right back in place of Andy Nahar, who had just recently returned to the team after serving time in international duty. And after an evenly matched first half, it was in fact Bauer who opened up the scoring in the game. For the second week in a row, Josh Bauer found the goal off of a deflection from the Cincinnati defense, putting the boys in gold into the lead in the 39th minute. But that advantage was short-lived. Just 4 minutes later, Cincinnati's newly acquired star Evander lined up for a free kick about 30 yards away from the Nashville goal. Evander sailed the ball over the Nashville wall and into the top left corner of the goal past keeper Joe Willis. It was similar to the goal he scored just a week earlier against Atlanta from a similar distance. It was Evander's 6th goal so far of the season. After breaking for halftime with a 1-1 tie, the game resumed and was once again evenly matched. Nashville's best opportunity came early in the first half when Walker Zimmerman earned a foul in the Cincy box, leading to a Hani Mukhtar penalty kick attempt. Unfortunately, in what has become a bit of a trend, Mukhtar's shot was easily deflected by the Cincinnati keeper Roman Celentano. In Mukhtar's last 7 penalty kick attempts, he has missed 4 of them, including one earlier this month against Portland. A controversial call swung the game in the 89th minute when Zimmerman was called for a handball in the Nashville box. While it did seem that the ball glanced off of Zimmerman's arm, it was a rather generous call for Cincy, leading to a penalty kick for Kevin Denke, who easily converted the opportunity. With just a few minutes of stoppage time available, Nashville was not able to respond, so Cincy left Geodis Park with 3 points and a hard-fought victory. Both teams now have 3 wins, 2 losses, and 1 draw, and sit in a 4-way tie for 5th place in the East, along with Charlotte and Orlando. There you have it, fellas. Not what we were hoping for, but maybe something we probably could have expected, to be perfectly honest. I know we were getting awful high on ourselves past few weeks, but it's going to be very hard to play a perfect season. What were your initial reactions to this game? Evan, we'll start with you.
Yeah, initially just really crestfallen. Yeah, I'd gotten pretty high on my own supply over here. I was pretty worked up after those 3 wins. So, the initial sting was pretty rough, but as I've had, nearly a day now to process it, I would say that I'm disappointed, but not necessarily discouraged. We knew it was going to be a tough game. We knew Cincinnati was a good team with a fantastic new player on their squad. And, we didn't obviously play as well as we had in the previous game, but we didn't play terribly. We were a little bit out of sync, and, maybe credit to Cincinnati on that. Maybe they game planned really well for us and all of our attacking pieces. It's hard to know how much of it was credit to them and how they played us versus just how flat we might have come out for the match. And it was pretty even. Couple of, at least one really questionable call that may have made the whole difference. So anyway, again, I will summarize by saying disappointed, but not discouraged.
Yeah. And how about you, John?
Similar. Yeah. It's not the end of the world. That's what I'm saying. I think we played one of the best teams in MLS pretty straight up in the end of it. Just a few inches here and there either way, and we're looking at a win, and we're celebrating drinking way more beers right now. We had a really good chance in the first half that did not go in. We obviously had the penalty that did not go in, and then we had a penalty call that probably was a penalty according to the rules, except for, man, I really think the guy was offside, and nobody really even looked at that. But it is what it is. We played against a good team, and the little things tend to go towards those teams that win, and that's really kind of the difference between a good team and a great team. And we are building towards being a great team. This is just a step. It's really more disappointing because of who it is, and we all fucking hate Cincinnati. If this was, Miami or something, we wouldn't be as down on ourselves as we are. We have to take it like we're building towards something. If we had gotten hammered or something, then it'd be a whole different story. We played okay. Just, it didn't go our way, man.
Well, I'm kind of surprised because we were fucking robbed, guys. The call at the end of the game was ridiculous. That should there have been a penalty kick then. 89th minute, give me a break. I don't care. I mean, it glanced off of his arm, whatever. I've read people say, well, it was probably the right call. That was incidental. I thought that was ridiculous and uncalled for. When it should have been a draw. That's a game that had every right to be a draw. Both teams played well and played, again, very evenly matched, as I said in the weekend review. And we were absolutely robbed of a point, and Cincinnati was gifted that one, in my personal opinion. And you guys should be agreeing with me on that instead of trying to
yeah, we were fucking robbed. Burn down MLS.
I definitely agree that it should not be a penalty. So, but I'm sure we will talk about that.
Well, the other thing when I think about this game, and I don't want to sound like Captain Obvious here, I mean, I'm reminded of the burning of the Library of Alexandria, right? I mean, it's the first thing that came to mind for me. Of course, we all remember the Library of Alexandria in Egypt is built like in the 3rd century BCE during the reign of Ptolemy II, but it really wasn't until the Julius Caesar's campaign in 48 AD when the famous burning that most historians refer to happened. Caesar had infiltrated Egypt. So this is a really wild story. Ptolemy XII dies in 51 AD. He leaves his kingdom to his 2 children, Ptolemy XIII, of course, and Cleopatra.
Oh.
Ptolemy XIII is like 10 years old at this point, and Cleopatra is 18, and he says they should rule jointly. But that quickly deteriorated into open conflict. Cleopatra had been forced out of Alexandria by her brother's supporters. And then the Roman Republic was engulfed in the civil war at the same time between Julius Caesar and Pompey. And then Pompey is on the losing end of several battles. He flees, as you guys remember. He's seeking sanctuary from the Ptolemaic rulers. And so Ptolemy XIII was thinking that probably he'd rather have Caesar's favor than Pompey. So he decided to have Pompey assassinated. And when Caesar arrived, they presented Pompey's severed head as a gift. They're expecting Caesar to be all grateful and stuff, but he was really disgusted by the whole thing. So then he decides to start fighting with Ptolemy XIII, and he demanded Cleopatra come back to Egypt and that those 2 siblings resolve their issues. And of course, they wouldn't, and Caesar ended up siding with Cleopatra. We all know why, and because she likes to throw it around. And ananyway, Anyway, so he orders his own ships in the harbor be set ablaze so that they couldn't be used by their enemy, because he was kind of caged in there at the palace and everything. Well, those fires on his ships ended up catching some of the buildings on the shore, catching them on fire, including the great Library of Alexandria. Now, this destroyed all of these thousands of scrolls of knowledge that had been collected for centuries, right? And you would think that this would be this devastating event for just human progress at this point. It turned out to be a blessing in disguise, because what people learned from that was that they needed to decentralize the collection of knowledge. They needed to duplicate these scrolls and house the duplications at different libraries across the modern world of the time, Athens and Rome and so forth. So they had to create some redundancy. They turned these setbacks into catalysts for innovation. They evolved better preservation practices after the fire. They studied what was not working and created new systems to improve upon what they had, and were able to preserve a tradition while also balancing change. So it was a great moment in history where they took a negative and they turned it into a positive. I think that the same thing can be done here. There are some weaknesses with NSC that maybe we were glossing over in the past few weeks because things were going so well. We can analyze those and turn this into a more longer term success as a result of this setback, as you would have assumed.
I love it. I love it.
History. Let's learn from it. Let's continue to have history being a thing we study in the future.
Imagine that. Imagine learning from past mistakes.
Yeah. I don't even think we got done with the game, and I was already thinking Library of Alexandria, of course.
It's all over again.
Here we are. All right. Well, let's look on the bright side of things, guys. Let's do some all hell yeah. John, we'll start with you with your all hell yeah moment tonight.
I'll give it to Josh Bauer.
Yeah.
Josh Bauer, he's a guy on the team. You know, he's getting paid, and we don't think about him very much. But
or at all,
really. But guess who's our tied for top leading goal scorer this season? Our backup right back, Josh Bauer. You know, that's all you can do in life is when you get your opportunity, you make the most of it. You know, he's had the opportunity because Andy Nahar's been on international duty. He's got 2 goals in 2 games. Now, he hasn't done anything fantastic to warrant this, but he's in the right place, and he did the right thing at the right time. And when Josh Bauer scored that goal, I was like, oh, hell yeah, this is our night. Turned out I was wrong, but still, hats off to Josh Bauer. You're doing it, man.
I think that, again, BJ Callahan's approach, pulling those wing backs up into the offense, Bauer does well with that. He might be better in that role than he is actually playing defense. It seems like he's really effective.
He did get beat quite a few times, honestly, on defense by Oriano of Cincy on that side. But Oriano's a good player. But, I mean, he's not a starting right back.
Right.
If Josh Bauer was starting every game, I would be worried. But he's made the most of his opportunity.
Good for him. All hell yeah, Bauer. What about you, Evan? What's your all hell yeah moment tonight?
My all hell yeah moment goes to Tag Seth the Disruptor.
Yes.
This diminutive young man is such a giant in the midfield.
Yeah.
He disrupts so many offensive plays for the opposition. And last night, he was especially effective in that. You guys may remember Hani was definitely off last night, right? It was like when Hani got the ball last night, it's like he had 12 different things go through his mind that he might want to do all at once. And he just ended up stalling out and making a bad pass or whatever. Kassem was off last night. He made tons of bad passes. Didn't seem like he was super into the game. We had a lot of turnovers in the midfield, that balls that just kind of, again, bad passes or balls that were deflected that fell to the feet of Cincinnati players who were looking to counter quickly. And Eddie Tagseth was there over and over and over again to slide in, to deflect the ball, knock it around, just to do anything to break up that momentum. He did it over and over and over again, all over the pitch, and it was so impressive. I just couldn't help say, "Oh, hell yeah, tag Seth the Disruptor."
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% sign on to that. And I love the nickname. The team kind of had a hand in this, the Norwegian Nuisance.
Mhm.
I haven't heard that. I love that.
Yeah, I can't remember what they did. Posted some weird video and it had that, and there was a woman in the supporters section that already had a T-shirt with a lot of pictures of him that said Norwegian Nuisance, and I had to give her a high five. I was like, I love your shirt.
Yeah.
You know who he reminds me of? I was a Portland Timbers fan in MLS before we joined the league. He reminds me of Diego Chara.
Yes, very much so.
Chara, little guy, not who you would think of as like a overpowering defensive midfielder, but he's always in the right place at the right time to win that possession back. And that's what Tag Seth is doing for us.
Yeah, and you guys are highlighting his defense, but I also want to just make sure and note that his offense is really important as well. He created basically the goal that Bauer scored. He was bringing the ball down from the right side. He put a pretty good service into the center. The only problem is that both Alex Wheel and Sam Surridge were trying to arrive and at that ball at the same time, and also a Cincy defender who actually ended up winning it, heading it out or deflecting it out. And it just happened to go straight to Josh Bauer, who was able to one-time it back into the goal. But that was all created. That chaos was created by Tag Seth. He is a chaos creator for the other team. And instead of like an Alex Wheel, who just is a chaos creator, period, whether it's for us or the other, it just creates chaos everywhere. Tag Seth specifically directs his chaos towards the opposition. And he has been just a revelation for us this year. So it's a lot of fun to watch him play. That's for sure.
Yep.
All right. Well, there's also the flip side of every coin, and now it's time for hell no. Evan, go for it.
Oh, man. Okay. We've already started to discuss this tonight, and this is the late penalty against Walker Zimmerman, who had a really good game otherwise. And I watched this, replay over and over, like I'm sure you guys did. And in no way did Walker move in any unnatural positions, try to make himself bigger. He just went up for the ball. He kind of got turned around, but the way his arms moved throughout that motion was completely natural. And Ryan, you mentioned this, and you're getting at something that is so important and maybe getting lost in the modern game, which is the spirit of a rule, the spirit of a law. Okay. It maybe technically per the rules, that was a handball, maybe, right? But the spirit of the rule is to prevent poor sportsmanship, unfair advantages. Right. Okay.
Right.
Walker Zimmerman did nothing to indicate that at all. He's entitled to make a play on the ball. He made a play on the ball in the air. Ball hits him in the back of the arm, something like that. That should not be a penalty.
Right.
Yeah.
It goes to replay. VAR up in the box is checking it or whatever, and they still think that is unfair advantages, poor sportsmanship, whatever. It's supposed to be the spirit of the law. Oh, hell no, it's not.
No. So they did replay it then, because that was not clear present in the stands at the game.
I believe they have to look at all penalties and goals no matter what, but they didn't look at it long enough.
No, I didn't think that they gave it the necessary attention and review that it deserved. That's for sure. I wasn't even aware that they conducted any sort of review. So certainly the ref on the field didn't do any. That I guess the folks in the office did.
Exactly.
Yes, it was negligible.
Basically, he was penalized for having arms.
Exactly.
Right. And again, honestly, according to the rules, I think it might be a penalty if it was onside or whatever. But here's the problem. The rules of this sport are stupid and bad. They have become like just chiseled away by people who have no fucking idea what you're supposed to do in this sport. And the rules right now are just, they're bad. They're stupid. It's one thing to, think Luis Suarez in the 2010 World Cup, where he jumped up and swatted like a Shaquille O'Neal, a ball out of the goal. That's a handball in the box.
Right.
That's what it should be. You can't just give a penalty for a guy having arms and jumping at the ball.
Yeah, right.
Oh, man, it pissed me off so much.
He made no play with his arms whatsoever. I mean, it just ricocheted off of, like you said, the back of his arm or something.
Yeah, I mean, that is the point.
Sense.
This is the point of having a human or a group of humans as referees to make these judgment calls and not to take away the human ability to judge whether or not there was some sort of unfair advantage had. And, that's probably why the rule is written the way it is now, but that isn't the way it should be.
And again, to do it at that most critical juncture in the box in the 89th minute of a game that was so closely contested by both teams, it just seems ridiculous to me. It completely ruined the whole spirit of that game. Again, that game was absolutely a draw in every manner. I mean, both teams played that game to an exact draw. They were both so even in their ability and their success and everything throughout the game. Just to put your thumb on the scale at the very end and tilt it in one side's favor, it sucked. It sucked hard. John, what's your all hell no moment?
My all hell no moment happened before the game. Folks, I am here to tell you that last night's loss, it wasn't due to Hani Mukhtar missing a penalty. It wasn't due to the referee. It wasn't due to Walker Zimmerman or whatever he did or did not do. That loss goes down to this stupid black cat.
Oh my gosh, you're so right. You're right.
Ryan and I were parking on a street a few hours before the game, trying to get to the tailgate, and this black cat crossed our path. And Ryan says, "Oh, man, I hope we didn't mess things up."
I did. I called it right then.
Oh, gosh.
And the whole game long, I was trying to put that black cat out of my mind. I was like, come on, there's no way. But like halfway through the game, what did I tell you, Ryan?
Yeah.
I said some bullshit is going to happen in this game.
Yeah, you did.
And the reason I said that is because I remembered that black cat.
I mean, you turned to me, I think it was like in like the 38th minute or something. You're like, some bullshit's going to happen in this game, I promise you. And sure enough, it did. It sure did.
Oh, it makes me sad because I myself have a black cat. I have this little black kitty named Saz. She's named after Jane Lynch's character on Only Murders in the Building. And I love her to death. Black cats get all the bad rap. All they're doing is just existing. Why do they cause bad luck? But sure enough, if one is around, bad shit's going to happen.
It did last night. It came out of nowhere.
That
came out of the woods. It crossed the path and then it was gone.
Right in front of us.
Yeah.
So, I was like, oh, hell no. This black cat did not just cross in front of us.
It was a bad omen.
Before our game with our biggest rivals. And my God.
Yeah, it all came true.
Fuck you, little black cat.
I have never been a superstitious person, but I'm all in on all of it now. I believe in everything now as a result of that. I'm going to be knocking on wood. I'm not walking under ladders anymore. None of that.
Not even.
No, I'm not surprised at all that you guys didn't pick this out, but I bet if we were to ask the masses, the NSC fans out there on the interwebs, a lot of them are going to say their all hell no moment is Hani Mukhtar missing another penalty kick. And I see the rumblings, and I know you guys do too, if you're checking online at all and seeing the comment section of anything, any of these articles or whatever. People are calling for Hani needs to sit. Hani needs to be moved. He needs to be traded. We need to replace him in the lineup. We need Hani's replacement. That's our weakness right now. What say you to this idea that we are past Hani's prime? Some have even gone so far as to say that his MVP season was a fluke. And I don't know that I'm willing to go that far. I mean, he wasn't just for that one season. It was a sustained run of success for across multiple seasons. But
he should have won too.
Yeah, right, right. And so anyway, what say you to this notion that it's time to start looking for other solutions in that spot? Either of you guys?
Yeah, I don't feel that strongly at all. Now, I have been talking about, Hani probably never getting back to that form, but I mean, who could? I mean, my God, he deserved the MVP, every bit of it the year he got it, and probably the year before. And he still has a lot of value for this team. We don't need to trade him. We don't need to bench him. He's going to have to adjust to this playmaker role. You guys may remember one particular play last night that highlights the issue. And I talked about it a minute ago when I said every time he got the ball, it seemed like he had a dozen different things go through his mind and never picked the right one. A lot of that was he would either dribble it into two or three guys and lose it, ended up making a bad pass, sometimes trying to hold on to the ball too long to get a shot, even if it was a long range shot. There was one time, and he had Kasem coming up on his right, and he chose not to play it to Kasem. Had he done so, I feel certain Kasem would have got a very good shot on goal. Now, whether or not he scores or not, that's another thing. But I think it was an obvious pass for a very good shot on goal, and he didn't take it. And so this is, I think, maybe it's an ego thing. Maybe it's just a pride thing. I don't know what it is, but he is going to have to step back and accept that he may not be the guy anymore, especially when it comes to scoring the goals. That's how I feel about it. Now, the penalty itself, look, I was very happy that he got that Panenka penalty last time. He should have quit there. He should have gone out on a high note. He should not be taking the penalties anymore, but that's my feeling. John, you probably feel differently. What do you think?
Who do you think should take penalties?
Well, are you asking me? Because if so, I'll just go ahead and tell you, because this is what I had for my hot chicken take. Ryan, with your permission, I would like to go ahead and serve up my hot chicken take.
My hot chicken take is that these owners got skills to shake, entertain the crowd and get on the field. Cause why the fuck not?
A preliminary.
So to answer your question, John, my hot chicken take is Kasem needs to take the penalties. Okay. We tried Sam.
Yep.
And I don't think Sam has the killer instinct that Kasem has. Hey, you guys, just like me, you've watched soccer, professional soccer for 20, 30 years now. Some guys have it. Some guys don't. It's an ice in the veins. It's a killer instinct. It's a supreme confidence. Hani doesn't have it. I think right now, the guy who seems to have it the most is Kasem. We need to give him that opportunity.
That's what I'm saying.
100% cosign.
100%. We are same wavelength, brother.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right on.
That's awesome. That's a good hot take.
All right. Well, we're already there. Let's go ahead and do your hot take as well, John.
Yeah, shit. Why not? I think I've appointed myself the goalie guy on this podcast. Here's my hot take. Brian Schwacke will be our starting goalkeeper by the end of the year.
Wow. What are you seeing? What are you seeing with Joe that makes you think that?
Too many goals from outside of the box. We've talked about his ball handling skills out of the back. That was not his problem this game. That free kick from Evander that went in should not have been a goal to me. Like, just speaking, I've obviously not been a professional goalkeeper, but I've played enough to. He was in the middle of the goal when that shot was taken. There was just a slight deflection off the top of the wall. Man, he's got to get to those. And I've been noticing it for the last year or so. Just too many goals from outside the box. If you're the kind of keeper that he is, that's not like a guy that's going to play the ball in the back or break up fast breaks by coming out of the box, you've got to stop shots from outside the box. And it bothers me so much. I feel like his feet are in concrete a lot of times on those. I really think that Evander shot wasn't Lionel Messi banging it in from 30 yards, impossible to stop. That was one he should have got to. And I'm really curious to see. I really feel I hope that Brian Schwacke at least starts. We play in the Open Cup here at I think the first week of May. I would expect him to get the start in that game. His reputation coming out of Scotland is that he's good with his feet. I would like to see him, in competitive situations to see what he's got. I mean, if he can do the job both with his feet and stopping shots, I think we roll the dice and we let him go.
Yeah,
that's my feeling.
He's the oldest player on the team, right? Or is it Bunbury? I'm not sure. They're both born in the Reagan administration.
Joe's older, yeah.
They're both born during the Reagan administration, I think. But point is that even if he did have that sort of quickness or reaction time earlier in his career, he doesn't anymore. It doesn't seem like. I've noticed the same thing and I thought that as well when that goal happened last night. Was that, man, it just felt like his reaction was a bit slow on that.
That was too far out. Like, I think it was 35 to 40 yards out. And man, you can't get beat on those. It'd be one thing if he was like in the corner of the goal and expecting the wall to block an entire side. But no, his starting position was right in the middle of the goal. Yeah.
Well, we'll see what happens there. In the meantime, we're doing a little experiment this season where we're counting down 50 goals for the team. Of course, that's BJ Callahan's goal that he's set that we're trying to achieve is for the team to score 50 goals this season. Each time they score a goal, we're naming off one of our favorite things in life, whatever it might be. It just happens to land on my turn this time around. This is in honor of Josh Bauer's second goal of the season. It is the 9th goal overall for the team in their 6th game. So they're on a pretty good pace to be able to score 50. But my favorite thing in honor of Josh Bauer's goal is one of my favorite novelists, and that's Douglas Copeland.
Yeah.
The person who coined the term Generation X, or at least popularized it with his first novel, Generation X, Tales for an Accelerated Culture, back in 1991. It was a term that he used to describe the generation that was post-baby boom, the disillusioned generation of the time. And a lot of the things that he wrote about in that book were sort of premonitions of how that generation would age and become adults, and just their detachment with society versus the generations that came before them. My actual favorite book of his was his second novel, Shampoo Planet, which honed in specifically, I think, on the generation that sort of hedges between Generation X and what we now call millennials. I've heard the phrase Xennial. Have you ever heard that phrase before? It's basically those folks that were our generation guys, the ones that were born like 77, 78 to 81, 82 right there, because it seems like that's a subset that's super unique from either Generation X or millennials. And that Shampoo Planet novel really captures it so well. And one of my favorite things about that novel that I have taken as part of my own life is that the main character in that novel has what he calls a globe farm. He has a collection of globes and he's got them situated all around his room, and he calls it the Globe Farm. And so if you look, I've got a collection of globes all over my office here. Just, something that I internalized from that book that I loved and have continued to do. And then he wrote a book called Microserfs, which was about young people working at Microsoft or a technology firm back in the 90s, and sort of how technology was intersecting with how people conducted themselves socially, how they communicated. They were even falling in love over email, which is very much a premonition of how society operates. And so just really interesting stuff. Each one of his books seems to like grasp what's about to happen in society, just maybe like a couple of years before it actually happens. So, and he's continued to do it. He has been a prolific writer for the past 30 years and one of my favorites. So Douglas Copeland, one of my favorite things, and goal number 9 for the season.
That's a good one for the pile. Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Check him out.
Yeah. Hey, Ryan, I just read today they have a new name for that little subset of Gen X that you were referring to. Have you seen this? They're calling us Generation Goonies.
Oh, I like that one too. I do too.
I like that a lot.
So you're either a Mikey, a Mouth, or a Chunk. Which one are you?
I'm a chunk, bro.
That was probably a mouth. Or I guess you could have been a data. You might have been a data. I don't know.
There you go.
Guys, what's next? I guess it's time for the weekend preview. The boys in gold will hit the road this coming weekend as they make the short trip to face off against Charlotte FC. Charlotte and Nashville both have 3 wins, 2 losses, and 1 draw, and share a tie for 5th place in the Eastern Conference. Charlotte returns home after a 2-0 loss to Colorado this past weekend, but their record in Bank of America Stadium is stellar, having won all 3 of their home games so far this season. Midfielder Pep Biel is the team's leader in both goals and assists so far, and he is among the league leaders in assists, so Nashville will hope to have answers for him. But more importantly, NSC needs to find some answers up front, as their designated players have underperformed, and success with set pieces continues to elude them much as it has for the past several seasons. Guys, it's time for you to dust off the old crystal ball. And John, I'll give you first crack at it.
Yeah.
Gaze into that crystal ball and tell us what you see happening for the team this weekend.
Oh, crystal ball, what do I see? I see kind of an ugly game.
Okay.
Charlotte remind me a lot of Nashville 1.0. They have an old school English coach named Smith, and their games are not pretty. What I've seen of them, I don't know. Every game that I've caught a glimpse of, it's pretty ugly. But they do have good players. They've got Wilfred Zaha this year that they added. The Pep Biel, he's actually pretty good. And as a side tangent, we should be scouting the Danish league for future talent, because I'm here to tell you, Hani Mukhtar, Evander, who just scored the free kick against us in Cincinnati, and Pep Biel were all signings for the Danish league. And I think they all won like Danish League Player of the Year before they came to MLS. So get on that, MLS. That's free advice. Next advice you get from me, you're gonna have to pay for. So okay, I feel the game's gonna be pretty ugly. It's gonna be scruffy. It's gonna be 1-1 with a Hani Mukhtar goal going in to the 93rd minute.
Ooh,
when Charlotte is scoring
it.
forward, trying to secure their 100% home record for the season. Eddie Tagstaff steals the ball, sends a long ball up the field, and who scores? But Hani Mukhtar gets his brace. 2-1 Nashville. Book it. Put your bet on it. Put your money on it, Nashville. This is what's happening. I have gazed into the crystal ball, and this is the word.
Redemption for Hani. Sounds great. Evan, what's your crystal ball telling you over there?
Well, I'm gazing into it and seeing that we bounce back somewhat from this disappointing loss, but we're not just cooking like we were, the previous game or two. I'm seeing a tie. I'm seeing 2-2 goals from Josh Bauer and Daniel Lovitz over on the left side.
Ooh,
fullbacks getting the goals.
That's right.
Leading scorer, Josh Bauer. That's fun.
That's right.
How much money do you think you'd get if you put money on Josh Bauer, Golden Boot winner this year?
Oh my gosh!
Do you think anyone's offering those odds?
No,
enough to buy an actual crystal ball.
We need our boy Steve from the Assembly on this part of the podcast, because he's putting money every week.
Yeah, we need gambling recommendations from him. So that'd be good. Yeah, I'm sure those are long odds for Josh Bauer, but what a payoff if you hit on it. All right. Well, guys, that was fun. Really appreciate the insight. Appreciate the predictions. Before we go, John, why don't you let us know how we can get in touch with us? Yeah, boy, we are Electric Gold NSC. I had to think about that for a second. Yes, sir. I've had a beer. Electric Gold NSC. We are on Instagram, Facebook, X, formerly Twitter. We are out there. We are doing it. And you can talk to us anytime you want to. We've been getting pretty good feedback the last few weeks, and we really, really appreciate that. We appreciate everyone that listens to us. We appreciate everyone that likes us or follows us. And it's just amazing to feel this connection with you. For real. Like,
I can't even put into words how cool it is when people come up to us and say that they've been listening to us.
Yeah.
I'm like, really? Us? Yeah.
Like,
I don't know.
Did you just like not have anything else to do? Were you forced to do it?
I feel like we've had we put on a good fun show, and
we do. I think so.
I really appreciate every single person that listens to us. Can't put any more than that.
Yeah, I appreciate it as well. And hey, we put on the old Spotify playlist after the game, coming back home from the game last night, and
did we jam or did we jam?
We jammed, dude. So if you haven't checked that out, jump on there. There's something for everybody. How many songs we got on there? 350 or so? 360?
Yeah,
something crazy?
like that. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So any song or pop culture reference that we've made in any episode,
it goes on there.
There'll be like I'm sure we're going to get like, well, we definitely are now because I'm going to say it.
Yeah.
We're going to get, what's her name in the Goonies?
Is it Cyndi Lauper?
Cyndi Lauper. Yeah. We're going to. Boy, oh boy.
These are good enough.
It's already on there, bro.
Yeah.
I'm already putting it on there as we speak.
There you go. So check that out. And of course, as John said, you can contact us on Facebook, Instagram.
And I really wanted to say this. I meant to say it before, but I was too drunk. So here's the thing. If you guys, anybody listening out there has like a hot take of their own, a hot chicken take, or like a hell no or hell yeah, send it our way. We can talk about
Listener hot takes. I love it.
I would absolutely love to have a listener hot take on here.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
So let's have this happen this week.
Great idea.
Anybody listen to this, send us an idea.
Great idea. So you can just comment it to us, or you can instant message us or whatever. I don't know how the kids do it these days, but John, you know how that thing works. So
y'all will figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. Get it to us some way or another, telepathy, whatever. And yeah, we'll absolutely discuss it on the next episode. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you all for listening. We really appreciate the support. And guys, thank you, Evan. Thank you, John. You guys are always a hit. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Your spirits may be a little bit dampened from this last weekend and the game with Cincy, but don't let it discourage you. We still got a great team and we're building to something even better. So keep hanging in there. Keep on rooting on the boys. Keep on cheering them on. And for God's sakes, please keep on saying it. Come on, you boys, and go!
Come on, you boys, and go!
Come on, you boys, and go!
Under cities, neon lights, talking dreams on Friday nights, electric vibes and stories told. Come on, you boys, and go. Waves of laughter in the air, podcast pals without a care, sharing glorious thoughts out loud. Come on, you boys, and go. Waves of laughter in the air, podcast pals without a care. Thoughts out loud, come on, you boys, and go.
Okay, wait. Hang on just one moment. The team's headed to Charlotte next. Charlotte's called Queen City because it's named after Queen Charlotte, the wife of King George III. That chump from Hamilton? It's a skyline with a bunch of office buildings trying to distract from the fact that no one wants to stay past 5 p.m. The city's motto should be now leasing. The nightlife ends earlier than the sports seasons, which end pretty early. Charlotte FC showed up just to remind people that the mediocrity isn't limited to just the basketball or the football. The soccer team can do it too. Well, Charlotte, we're very happy to be traveling to your beautiful city so we can give you something real special. Here it comes.
You call yourself charlatans, but you're really charlatans. Those of us here in Nashville brave the heat and the cold. You're fair weather fans who just can't seem to hack it, while we always show up big time for the boys in gold. We party hard with the Rockin' and SC. And yeah, I sorta hate to be so mean, but you Charlotte observers aren't just a bunch of wildflowers wishing you were part of the Nashville scene. We love our soccer here in the Music City. Yeah, you know that ain't no damn sin. Y'all might be something of a financial center, but we're banking on a blue and gold win. We party hard with the Rockin' and SC. And yeah, I sorta hate to be so mean, but you Charlotte observers are just just a bunch of wildflowers wishing you were part of the Nashville scene. We're a little big country here in the middle Tennessee, but we can level up now higher and higher. You might be the Queen City there in North Carolina, but you're not nearly as fancy as our Reba McEntire. We party hard with the rockin' NSC, and yeah, I sorta hate to be so mean, but you Charlotte observers are just a bunch of wildflowers wishing you were part of the Nashville scene. You don't have a zoo, come on, that's sad, quit putting us on. We've got one of the best over here at Grassmere, and we've even got our very own Parthenon. We party hard with the rockin' NSC, and yeah, I sorta hate to be so mean, but you Charlotte observers are just a bunch of wildflowers wishing you were part of the Nashville scene. Rockin' NSC, and I guess I kinda hate to be so mean, but you Charlotte observers are just a bunch of wildflowers wishing you were part of the Nashville scene. I said you Charlotte observers are just a bunch of wildflowers wishing you were part of the Nashville scene.
That was probably a mouth. Or I guess you could have been a data. You might have been a data. I don't know.
There you go. There you go.
Guys, what's next? I guess it's time for... We did hot chicken takes. Damn. I don't know what's next.
Crystal ball?
Crystal ball?
Oh, we got to do weekend review. Weekend preview.
Weekend
and then we'll do
preview,
Crystal
yeah.
ball. All right, let's... What a mess of a podcast this is. This is the weekend preview.